From downtown Scranton, this is Northeast Current. WQPX invites you to join us as we explore public affairs, current events, and arts and culture in northeastern and central Pennsylvania. Now let's meet today's guests on Northeast Current.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Northeast Current. I'm Charlie Charlesworth, your guest host for today. Every once in a while, we have a segment or a story that we want to talk about that is my area of expertise, and that's why I'm your guest host today. We're going to talk a little bit about the outdoors, about the deer herd, the deer population, and some of the damages that they do in Pennsylvania. The deer, when they go through the gestation period and they have their babies, God or Mother Nature has this unique way of protecting those babies once they're born. During the winter, the male deer lose their antlers, which is called shedding, and when their antlers grow back in the spring, when the babies are newborn, a male deer would kill the babies, but Mother Nature puts this little velvet layer over top of the antlers as they're growing, and it's actually very painful to the deer when it brushes up against anything while the antlers are still growing. So therefore they can't harm the little baby deer when they're growing up, and the doe, the female deer, become the dominant deer, and they actually expel the male deer from the herd, and the male deer go off on their own, thereby protecting the little baby deer. So when the antlers start to, or actually finish growing, the velvet becomes very itchy and scratchy. So what they'll do is they'll go and they'll rub those antlers on a tree, and it's called a buck rub, and that's very harmful and dangerous to the trees. So we're fortunate enough today to have someone, two people actually, that have decided to do something about that tree damage. We're joined today with Jim Saunders and his daughter Jill. Now, Jim, this is a very unique product. You want to give us a little bit about the background and how this was developed?
Sure, Charlie, thanks very much for having us on today.
It's our pleasure.
As you explained, deer rubbing, sometimes called deer rutting, destroys millions and millions of trees across the United States every year. In Pennsylvania alone, it's estimated it destroys about 500,000 young trees, and the antlers will rub against the outside bark of the tree, and within a year the tree is destroyed. We have a tree farm at the foot of the Poconos in a little town called Kempton, and for years and years the deer would come through there between September and Easter and just destroy our sycamores and our ornamental trees. And we tried everything we could to stop it. We tried the conventional tree wraps, the guards, the stormwater pipe, and nothing kept these deer away. And so necessity is the mother of invention, and we invented something that's known across the country now as tree armor.
When you say we,
my daughter and I, yeah, my daughter and I sat down one afternoon and we invented a product that not only is tapered, it's spring-loaded, and it will defend a tree against the biggest buck that you'll ever see in Pennsylvania.
Well, keep track of the size of them for me, because I want to come down to Kempton to do a little hunting.
All right.
Jill, I understand you took a big part of this process. You want to tell us what was going through your mind when you came up with this concept?
Mainly what my dad said is that we have this tree farm, and we'd work very hard at, keeping these trees and trying to grow these trees, but every year when rutting season would come around, the deer would come in and they would rub their antlers against the bark and just destroy these trees. As soon as the first frost would come in, the trees would die, because what the deer do is they scrape their antlers on the trees and they expose the inside part of the tree. And not only just deer, but rabbits, mice, and we also hear snakes now too, do a lot of damage to the bark of the trees. So what the tree armor does, it protects the tree from these animals that want to cause it harm.
I wanted to mention that before, because when the extremely harsh winters that we have sometimes here in Northeast PA, and you're right on that border of Northeast PA, when the snow accumulates, the smaller, the rodents, the squirrels, the rabbits, they don't have the browse to eat from, so they take a big chunk out of the tree bark too.
They do.
And
Yep.
we're going to show you a little bit example of that right here today.
Okay.
Now, the tree armor. Explain, well, Jim, why don't you show it, give us or Jill, do you want to do the
Sure, I'll give you an example of how it goes onto the tree.
How it goes on?
Yep.
Yeah, but while she's doing that, what we were able to do is we were able to construct a piece of plastic in such a way that would create a tension around the tree, so that no matter how hard the deer would rub, the tension will increase. And that's why we have a piece of plastic here that has a provisional patent, which actually tapers on the top and is wider on the bottom and creates a spiral effect.
Yep. Really holds on to that tree, and like he said, as the tree grows, the tree armor grows with it.
So it expands.
Expands with the tree.
Without allowing
One
the bark.
application and you don't, and even when it gets to the point where you want to remove it, it's simple to remove.
It's simple to put on, simple to remove. I'm going to show you that here. One of the neat things we found here is that this tree actually has some rodent and deer damage on it already. So I'm just going to show you how easily the tree armor goes on. You start it at the very base of the tree. You could even put it right over the damage. And you just wrap it, kind of like a bandage, up the tree. You'll notice it grabs tightly. Goes up. Takes about 30 seconds to put on. And once it's on, it'll really stick. And with the tapered design, the very top part really latches onto the tree. And then you can go about adjusting it however you want to do it. Moving it up, moving it down, however. Whoop.
This is ideal for homeowners, isn't it? It's not just a commercial application on a tree farm.
No.
People have fruit trees in their yard and want to protect them as they grow.
So that's
Yeah, the
basic-
backstory on this is that we originally came up with this idea and decided to let the Chinese make tree armor for us. But as we found out later on, the Chinese don't have a high regard for the content of the vinyl that they sell. There's a lot of lead and cadmium and toxins in the tree, in the plastic. And so we were able to bring the product back to the U.S., where it's made with an EPA-approved PVC. And it's lead-free, and the orchard farmers love it because when this is on a fruit tree for any length of time, the plastic can leach that lead and cadmium into the ground and poison the fruit. So it's a terrific product for the commercial use as well as the homeowner.
So you decided to bite the bullet, probably a little bit more expensive to have it manufactured here,
Exactly.
but it's well worth the effort.
Definitely.
Well, that I have to applaud you for, because when people are willing to decrease their bottom line a little bit just to make sure that they have a great product, that's really a novel approach, and I applaud you for that.
And it keeps people at work here in Pennsylvania. The product is made in Strongsville, Ohio, and shipped out of Pennsylvania. And we're selling between 100 and 200 pieces a day, so it keeps the fellas up in Strongsville working. We have 8 employees up there that make a product.
Where's your biggest market right now?
Across the Midwest.
Yeah.
Midwest?
Wisconsin, Missouri, Minnesota, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New Jersey are very big.
Well, Pennsylvania is very big in fruit production, so fruit tree production,
Right.
So I imagine, we'd be a good source. And Ohio is, that's a big apple growing area, isn't it? Ohio, yeah.
Sure, certainly.
Now, down in your area, there's a lot of Christmas tree farms.
Yes.
This isn't a good application for something like that, is it? Or-
No.
No.
No,
Not
not
pine
Christmas trees.
Not Christmas trees, but fruit trees and shade trees.
Yep.
Anything else you want to tell us about the product?
Well, Jill has something that I think we'd like to release on your show for the first time anywhere. If you'd
Yep.
like to go ahead,
Sure.
tell them we have something new.
We have a new product. It's actually called Tree Armor Plus. Now the neat thing about this product is that it has a scent built into the fabric of the PVC plastic. So it actually smells like, what do we have it smelling like?
Cayenne
Like
pepper.
cayenne pepper. So if you take a close sniff, it smells like a seasoning that you would find in your cabinet.
Yeah.
Now what we found through a lot of different experiments is that deer and other animals, they don't like the smell of cayenne.
Pepper, I know that, yeah.
So it kind of gives you a double protection here. One, the animal will walk up to the tree, and even before they try to eat it or scrape it with their antlers, they won't like the scent, so it'll deter them away from the tree. And two, if they just decide they like the cayenne pepper scent, they won't be able to get through to the tree either, because we still have the tree armor. Same thing, only it has a scent.
Yeah, I know. I used cayenne pepper in my bird feeders to keep the squirrels away because
that's
they don't
pretty-
like they don't like the
idea.
scent.
Is
So,
that
yeah.
right?
Yeah. So I when you said that, that rang a bell. Yeah. Well, listen, we really appreciate you coming up here to Scranton and give us this little demonstration.
Thank you.
Is there any local stores that this is available in, or department stores, or anything
We
like that?
sell direct to the consumer online. They can go on www.mytreearmor.com and just order online. It's a very inexpensive product, anywhere from $2 to $6, depending on how many they order. Our biggest customer are the homeowners that are planting young ornamental trees or maples or sycamores, and it's a terrific product that will last for years and years.
Do you have any kind of scent that you can put on there to keep the gnats away?
I know, I wish we did. That's coming out next year.
That's next year. All right, well, listen, we're going to be right back after this commercial break.